Welcome back, brothers, to another episode of one of your should be your favorite podcast, the Hall of Game podcast, and this is directed towards professional or looking to be professional African American men who are either looking to build their resume, whether it's going up the corporate ladder, tips on how to do that, how to achieve that, how to switch careers, right? If you're currently in one career and you would like to go to another, or also building some of the networks and some tips in the networking field. And so we're dealing with that today. And today we have a really good topic brought by Brother Gabe. What college does and does not prepare you for as a black man. Also, we'll be talking about some experiences here, how to survive it. And my name is O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'm one half or one third today, obviously, of the Hall of Game. And Gabe is the one that brings all most of the material. Gabe, go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Absolutely. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Gabe Bay. Kind of really excited about the topic today as it concerns black men in college. Went to college for electrical engineering, transition into industry, working as an engineer for automotive, then nuclear, then transition more over into cybersecurity. And so I currently work as a consultant, but I'm also in school too. So I'm actually working on my master's right now. So this black men in college topic is very close to me experientially. So I'm just looking forward to kind of giving some ideas behind things I've went through, things that I've learned from those experiences, and some things that you guys can take away today that can help to really kind of, increase your experience, right, in your corporate type of environment. So yeah, man, happy to be here.
All right, thank you so much, brother. And then we definitely have Brother Maurice. Thank you for joining us, Brother Maurice.
No, I
Go
appreciate
ahead and
it,
introduce yourself.
my name is Maurice November. I went to art college for multimedia and design. Currently, I'm a full-time product designer, dealing with front-end design and management.
All right, cool. And then we definitely got, thank you, brother G-Star. G-Star, boy, you got that coronavirus money, player. Thank you. I see you out there in Australia. And then we have Andre Hatchett on tonight. Thank you, brother Andre. Go ahead and let them know a little something about you, that player.
What's going on, guys? Gabe Maurice. We got the OGs in here, man. Oshizo, what's going on, fam? Hope everyone's doing well. Andre Hatchett here.
What's up?
Ain't we all? Long time friend, long time entrepreneur. I did go to college. I actually went to college for a long time. I'll get into that story a little bit later. Yeah, man. But here to give some game and learn some things, and glad to be here.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead, because you know what? I want to make sure that I let, this is Gabe's topic, right? And I'm gonna let Gabe drive the truck here, and we'll just see how he wants to take it, and we'll go from there. Brother Gabe, what's the inspiration for the show, and what are we looking to achieve today?
Absolutely. Yeah, before we were talking about this, it's really interesting because I think that, especially within like the black manosphere space, there are a lot of topics that are kind of covered a lot. And I think the one that has sparked my interest a lot is like the scent tales, right? Is that as brothers have went through particular experiences with women and relationships, that they've been able to garner a lot of, I guess, advice for brothers coming behind them, or even brothers currently going through particular situations. So I kind of wanted to take that kind of idea, the sip tails thing, and take that and put that into more of the black male college experience, not necessarily as it concerns relationships, but as it concerns their experiences in academia, or their experiences in their college environments, and things that brothers can be able to take away from those experiences and be able to apply them to their lives and say, hey, I don't want to go down that same road, or hey, that was actually a good thing that you did there, and I can apply that to my life right now. So that's kind of the foundation and idea behind this, right? Started from the sip tails, but more of like the the college experience, the black male college experience tales.
All right.
So yeah.
Let me also kind of start with this. Let me know if I know you're gonna be very honest. Let me know if I'm going off base here. But I want to just make a suggestion to anybody before you decide to go to an undergraduate institution, or if you're trying to decide to go to a professional school. I think that one of the things that, looking back on it now, and I'll talk about this, you should look at a university that is going to cater possibly. Okay, what is the school's credo? Number one, and I want to start there. And I'm looking back on it. Okay, am I going to a state college? I'm going to a private university. But what is the school trying to achieve? Trying to achieve, right? And even like with HBCUs, certain HBCUs are looking to educate African Americans and trying to push them into certain fields, like your Prairie View A&Ms, your Florida A&Ms. I think with me, and I'll talk about a little something else too, as far as in college. One of the things that when I didn't look at the infrastructure that was needed. So let's say, for example, when I started taking like chemistry, general chemistry, and I know you took at least one semester of it as an electrical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I struggled with was like, all right, I bought the general chemistry book. I got the solutions manual. And I used to be a big solutions manual guy. Anybody that takes like, math or science, you have the solutions manual with the book. And the first few problems are always easy. But then when you get towards the middle of the pack or towards the end of the section, it's like, it's really difficult, really hard, right?
Yep.
And I would find myself not measuring, because the exam doesn't come from the very easy questions. It comes from the middle to the hard, toward the end of the section, right? Because they would give you like, okay, this problem set, you're gonna do all the odds, 1, 3, 5, 7. That's it's the practice that you're supposed to do, right? Very, very common in science majors and math majors. Nigga, I was trying to pretty much just remember, or going through old exams and remembering how to solve those exact questions if I could find them. And showing up, nigga, and getting 40% on the exam, 45%, 50%. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you what I just heard from that, man.
Yeah.
What I heard from that is that you were focusing on passing the class and answering the questions rather than really actually ingesting the information. Yes. That's exactly what I got from what you just said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right, no. And I think like going back on it, because when you go to, you get into the, obviously you can actually graduate undergraduate in that same format and come out and know nothing. The problem is that when you go to professional school or if you go to graduate school, you need to know that stuff. And I noticed how some people were ahead of me because they were looking to learn the information and understand it and understand the concepts of what's going on. And I think I used to regurgitate a whole lot. But then I started to look at, if I can go back and look at those, because there's many times that happened, right? Until I really figured it out. Okay, what are the resources available to you if you're a person going into, especially the STEM? You go into the STEM or you go into the medical sciences? For me personally, a lot of situations, I hate to say this, but it might not, if your skills are weak in that area, I probably wouldn't recommend a HBCU to go to. Going back now, the state colleges that have the biggest math tutorings, the biggest, PhD programs, like your Penn State, your University of Wisconsin, people that have teaching labs with tons of TAs and private tutoring and more resources available, 24-hour libraries, other students that are really serious and really smart. Going back on it, I think a lot of Black men, you can gain from this type of especially if you're in the STEM fields and stuff like that. I'm not shitting on, but just me personally, that's a lot of things that I went through again because I wasn't trying to decipher the information. And a lot of times when you go to smaller colleges and for let's say a smaller classroom and stuff like that, it could be good, but then the resources are also very small to help you go through these things. And when I learned, and Gabe, this is before YouTube, right? Because back in the day, it was you, the library, McGraw-Hill calculus, because he had calculus 1, 2, and 3 in the same book, and the solutions manual, and you're figuring out. It's archaic if you think about it now. When you took it, but now you can do derivatives, you can do integration, all that's on. You can do that all on YouTube now. It's there.
O'Shea, did you have any professional folk you had maybe access to via a network to kind
No,
of walk you through that? Yeah,
no.
that's what I saw in my college experience because I went to a all primarily white art school in Kansas City, Missouri, one of the biggest ones in the Midwest, Kansas City Art Institute. And what I saw was a lot more. My white peers had a lot more resources via family and their family's network when it came to navigating college. And I was literally a year behind when I got there. And people are knocking things out over the weekend that would take me a week to do. That's what I saw. So, question both of you guys, everybody on the panel. Do you think that a lot of professional Black men don't go back to the colleges and create opportunities for mentorship? Do you think that's where the gap is missing?
Right. Well, let me get Gabe handle that. Now we go to Andre. Go ahead.
So the question is going back to what type of colleges, like the community colleges, or the
Well, all colleges. Like I'm on the kind of art. I'm on the kind of visual design side when it comes to STEM. So I'm the front end guy, right? But what I've realized that there's nobody. I spend a lot more of my time in my mentorship with other brothers coming out of school and walking them through basic processes when it comes to business. And I'm surprised that they spend all this money at these state schools and do not know how Fortune 500 works. It's really surprising. So the bigger question is like, do you think that not many of us who are in the professional fields are making an effort to go back to some of the schools to lay out a game plan for some of the teachers that are there?
I'm not 100% sure. So I guess it's industry versus
academic kind of ideology versus what happens really when you
I'm gonna pass this one to Andre, because I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I don't know if they would want me there. I don't know if they would want me there because even though I'm not against college, I'm actually for it for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, let's look at me for example. So I'm one of those typical textbook C, D plus, maybe a B student,
right?
But who hires and who trains PhDs and MBAs and people who have these fancy degrees.
Right.
So I'm that textbook guy. My simplicity is what's made me a six-figure earner because I know how to keep things so simple. College, everything is super jazzed up, super technical, super by the book, super if you don't get an A or a B, you're dumb. And they have structured it where you have to fit in this tight mold to be successful. So I don't know if they would want me there. So it's crazy, right? I can make $150,000 online, but I couldn't get a job at FAMU or Duke. Colleges wouldn't hire me, even though I have these great skill sets, and I'm able to help people transition their knowledge into income quickly, speedily. So, O'Shea, I can't stay too long. If I can make a quick point out, appreciate that.
Yeah. Go ahead. We can rock tomorrow.
So time. Okay, cool. I actually got class tonight. I might teach class tonight. Okay. So the question is, what does college prepare you for, and what doesn't prepare you for? It doesn't prepare you how to make money.
That's true.
Quickly. It does not prepare you how to make money quickly. It prepares you how to be a great employee, or a decent employee, 100%. and especially in this climate. So I got a text from a student yesterday. He took my classes. He's out there in Oakland, California. Now with everything going on in this current climate, my business is actually increasing. My industry is actually going up. So he got 3 more orders because other people didn't want to do the job yesterday because everything was going on. So he's making more money. I don't know if he has a degree. He does have a degree, I believe, but him having a degree has nothing to do with him making an extra $300. So no matter where you go with formal education, undergrad, advanced degrees, you have to know how to make money in any given economy. And a lot of people are going to suffer, unfortunately, because they're so used to things being fed to them from a 9 to 5. That's not an insult. It's an honest profession. It's a great way to go. But what kind of hustle and intangible skills do you have outside of that? Because the guys like me are going to eat regardless of what's going on in the economy. I actually think people need to dumb down. A lot of people actually need to dumb themselves down in order to succeed. What can you do that will bring you money? I got my skill set. My skill sets: an online instructor, mobile notary. What skill sets do you have that can make you money in this current economic climate? What's your intangible, I guess, kind of like hustle skills? How are you going to get your hustle out of yourself in order to turn that into income? College does not prepare you for that. It prepares you to go, be a great employee, and rock out. That's what college is missing. I'll talk to you guys later on.
Go ahead.
I got have them to class.
Okay. All right, Andre. Just
it's all good. It's all good.
Gabe, before you push back, let me just say what you guys. Let me just say before you push back. Let me just say this one thing too. After listening to Gabe, I'll also say that looking back at it, Gabe was ready for college. I mean, Gabe was his career path. He's already been waiting. If you ever listen to Gabe talk, he was trying to intern with Ford as a 7th or 8th grader. Gabe has been preparing for where he's at right now all his life. I was a nigga that was 23 years old and didn't know a major. You know what I'm saying? So you have your traditional, and I think we come at it from two different perspectives, Gabe. There are the traditional students like yourself who they do good in high school, they're taking the SATs, and they're doing well. But then you have the people like myself. I was a non-traditional student. I graduated when I was 26. I entered medical school at age 34. I'm still there, but I'll be out of there by the end of the year. My whole path was like I was there, and then I was working, and I was there again, and like you understand. So I think it's also a different perspective from going out of college, because a lot of times we think about it, there are not a lot of Gabes. Most people don't graduate the university system at 22 or 23. Some people do, but then you have people like myself who, something happens in life, or you're not ready there, you're not focused enough. You come back as a different student. And then that's also a different perspective from taking college, because the age matters. If you're 18-year-old black male going to college versus you're 25, that's a big difference. It's a big maturity difference. So that's also something, we can get to that a little bit later, but there's a traditional versus a non-traditional approach. And you have a lot of black men out there that have went the non-traditional approach, which I don't know if Gabe would well, he probably, if you could understand that. But I want
to follow up with what you said. I see a ton of Gabes because I worked at Georgia Tech for about 2 years. I worked for one of the laboratories, working for the Navy. I see a bunch of Gabes. I see a bunch of Gabes in finance. I see a bunch of Gabes in engineering. I see a bunch of Gabes in computer science. I see a bunch of Gabes in medical.
Sure.
But yeah. But what the kind of pushback my pushback on Andre, I don't see many of them having entrepreneurial mindsets when they come out of college. They have a very kind of niche thing they do, and they kind of fall into it, but they're not trying to understand everything that's connected to what they do. That's what I've noticed, because it took me 10 years to get to this place where I'm an entrepreneurial. When I walk into companies, I'm not a worker. So I understand how the whole system works, right? And from listening to Gabe's story, Gabe was groomed for leadership early, all the way from like the math program he was in. Gabe, you said he was in the math program in Detroit, middle school, right? I remember you telling that story.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it feels like Gabe was kind of groomed from a very early age, a very impressionable age, to kind of walk into situations and own it fully. That's the sense I get when I hear Gabe talk about his narrative. I don't see much of that happening. Well, I'll be fair. With the guys I mentor, I'm giving that to them now, but that's not what they're starting with. They're coming out of school really lost. They don't know what to do, or if I'll give you an example. One of my students was an Accenture intern. She was doing very well, money looking pretty good. her challenge was she did not know how to operate within a team environment. She was so used to working by herself. She caused a lot of trouble working with her fellow business analysts and developers because she wanted it her way and not the way that worked for the team. And it took her a while to kind of figure that out, and nobody was here to help her navigate that. So, it's stuff like that I see more often, not knowing how to play the game. You're walking into a football game with volleyball rules. That's what I've seen.
No, go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah. I think there was a lot that was said. Let's see where to pick up at.
I think you wanted to Andre's point previously, right?
Maybe let me hit the fresh point and then come back to Andre's.
Okay.
So the point about me being groomed, I guess be in the position that I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. So I think that's part of the problem, right? Or looking at me as the anomaly, because I think that although I don't think that you guys are trying to be offensive or anything, but I think what it does is that it kind of means that Black men being successful in corporate, business, and academic environments equate to an anomaly, right?
Bookmark that.
I don't want to be
bookmark that. I want to come back and get you.
I don't
nigga, you are the anomalies. Fuck that.
No,
I'm saying you are the anomaly. You goddamn right. Gabe
let me tell you what the problem is with that.
And it's
let
true.
me tell you what let me tell you what the problem it is with that. Is that when brothers hear that, they feel as if it's something almost unobtainable. They feel like they can't get to that point because, Gabe was able to do that because he's an anomaly, or O'Shea was able to do what he does because he's an anomaly, or Maurice was able to do what he does because he's an anomaly. Sure, there are some things like about us that allow us to be propelled in our fields. But I do want brothers to recognize, and anyone that's hearing this, is that they can be just as successful in their own lanes as we are in ours.
No, Gabe, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that.
I just want to finish this point.
I'm sorry.
Let him finish.
Yeah, so I think that at times brothers can feel as if things can be unobtainable if they look at other brothers as anomalies. And I just want to say, all of you brothers can be just as successful in your lanes as you can possibly be. So I'll just leave it there and spread it around.
You gonna go?
Let me hold on, Maurice. Let me respond to that. So in the case, like for example, when you for me, and I know there are some brothers that are like Dr. Kenyon Meadows. I mean, he went to Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. You have what's the other guy he's a moderator. He's an emergency medicine doctor. I don't know why I don't know his name right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He's always here every day.
I forget his name, but yeah, it
starts with the E. But anyways, so guys like that, although there are Black men that are like that do exist. We definitely understand that. In the case of me, I was a guy that had that potential, but for whatever reason, fucking up, whatever, I wasn't serious enough at first, which I was my own downfall, which put me in the path of the non-traditional wavelength. And I will also just talk about that. One of the things that I noticed from being an undergrad and going to professional school, and I want to just add this there, because in undergrad, what you figure is you have time for everything. For example, for physics lab, our chemistry lab are depending. I don't know if you remember, Gabe, but let's say if you take an electricity and magnetism, I don't know if you had it twice a week or if you had it once a week.
Man, I had like 2.5 hour labs. Man, I had some crazy labs.
Was it twice a week or once a week?
I think that one was twice a week.
All right. So you have electricity and magnetism. A semester is like 15 weeks. You're gonna spend like 90 hours of lab and maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours or 3 hours a week in lecture. All right. But then if you have math, there's no lab in that. And for most students, even for the most hardcore biochemistry engineering major, the downtime that you have to study.
Oh yeah.
You might be able to arrange your classes where you only go to school Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You might even be on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays at all, depending on how you shape your schedule. And if you get lucky, And if you were a non-science major, you could range your class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You might be going to class 8 to 1. You have that flexibility in the undergraduate university system, which allows you a lot of times. And one time, if I go back, you could do like studying the day before an exam, the night before, depending on how hard the subject was. Usually in engineering, you can't do that. But, 3 or 4 or 5 days or whatever an exam. There's not a lot of time management that you have in undergrad, but at the professional school level, now you're talking about taking information and drinking it out of a fucking water hose. That's what it's like. Okay. The work schedule is demanding, and you'll look at, if anybody's been to professional school or going to like dental, law, pharmacy, you're going to be like, God damn, I had a lot of time as an undergrad. And that's one of the things I will say as a black man. I didn't take a lot of opportunity of the time, Gabe, that I had to achieve certain things, because you know what, college is a big opportunity. I will just say this: I didn't pledge, I didn't join any kind of extra fraternities, or I didn't join any math clubs or Mesa or anything like that. I could have really propelled myself into a greater situation and did more. And that's one thing that Gabe did do. He involved himself in things like this. Or, he involved himself as far as getting the internships and stuff like that. That's something that I didn't do. And looking back at it, if I'm a brother and I was going to make a school today, I would definitely want to get involved every summer with an internship. I would definitely want to get involved. We used to have recruiters. Genentech came out to Sacramento State University in my senior year. And we used to have big companies, because obviously I'm Sacramento, so the Bay Area, they would come and they would try to recruit students to come work for them. This is what you need to do. They would come to and I didn't take advantage of those situations. A lot of students did, right? And they're more, they're very further off in life right now than I am. And what I didn't realize, Brother Gabe and Maurice, is that college is not only an academic thing, it is a sell yourself thing. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that I needed to sell myself to certain people or go talk to certain people. I was just like, man, fuck y'all, man. Like, I'm gonna get my degree. That's my paper to get into whatever I need to go. I'm not kissing you niggas. I got I try to get the grade or whatever. That's all I gotta do. But unfortunately, that was my mistake. And I want to tell any brother, whatever you are, if you're a traditional or non-traditional student, you need to look at college as twofold. One is the grades, and the second is, can you talk for yourself? Can you sell yourself? The recruiters, when they come on campus. So, for example, Southern University, they have a mechanical engineering, but they don't have chemical engineering. But I do know that Chevron is very big at coming to, Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then what they're saying is, we want you to work for them. If Chevron shows up to Southern and you're a mechanical engineer, nigga, you better be there. You better be talking to people. You better be there trying to intern during the summer, because they're recruiting you. And somebody like me, I wasn't serious about that kind of stuff, And when I listen to your stories, I'm like, damn, I wasn't managing my time. I wasn't trying to learn the information. I was just trying to pass. And then I was fucking up.
O'Shea, O'Shea, I want to follow up behind what you're saying, and I don't want to pick on Gab in the conversation, but there's a difference between intention and incapability. What I usually hear people kind of, when we have these conversations, there's a focus on capability. Everybody's capable of getting to Gab's place, Gabe's place. Everybody's capable of getting to my spot. Everybody's capable of getting to O'Shea's spot. What I'm realizing that there's not a focus on, and O'Shea outlined it perfectly, his intentions wasn't sharp. He did not take advantage of his opportunities. He did not make the right moves to be successful. And when I hear Gabe talk, it's like, don't talk about my story because everybody's capable of being here. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that Gabe is a winner because he played the chess game the right way. Yes. He moved his rook to the right place. He got the knight when he got it, and he moved his pawns in the proper position, and he's winning right now. And everybody, and then to O'Shea's point, I too made a lot of mistakes. Man, I made a ton of mistakes in my college career. Had I made a left instead of a right, a up instead of a down, an angle instead of a stop, I would have been a lot further ahead. So when we have these dialogues, and you were having this dialogue amongst men, I tell all my students, I'm not because like we get into this weird thing of capability, bro.
Right.
You can go be a doctor tomorrow if you wanted to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about will you get your ass up at 5 a.m. and grind? This is gym time. Are you willing to get up and do the 4-mile run? Because everybody can do the 4-mile run, but can you be consistent with it and make it work for you? And that's what I see, because a lot of the cats I mentor, they don't think they have to work for anything. Like I'm having three spicy debates with students right now, and I'm telling them, I'm looking at what they have. I'm like, you got to redo all this, and it's going to take you 3 months, and you got to meet him. You got to meet me here every Saturday. Man, you should hear the stuff I get back from them. They look at me like I lost my mind. And Gabe, I'm the one with the 6-figure job, working in the job they want. Right? I got what they want, and they don't want to do what I did to get there. I'm like, what? So intention. It's all about, brothers. If y'all don't get nothing from this conversation, what is your intent? Capability is never going to be questioned because you got to where you got to because you were capable. But once you got there, what are your intentions? What's your game plan? How are you going to move properly? I want to talk more about that because I think that's where I see a lot of the troubles in that arena because we're not paying attention to it, in my personal opinion. I'll give it to y'all. I'll give it to y'all.
Oh, go. No, real talk. Go ahead, Gabe. You want to?
Oh, yeah, I don't have anything else to say about that one. I understand what you guys are saying.
Let me also say this. This guy says traditional college is overrated. Graduated but making more money owning my own carpet cleaning. Okay, let me.
Oh, the Andre Hatchett thing. I'll jump on the Andre Hatchett point right after you address your point.
Okay, I gotta address people like this. Okay, let me say this. I think a lot of you guys, and I appreciate you, brother. Non-swirl zone. Let me tell you what college does teach you. College teaches you something like this, nigga. There's a class at 6 a.m. That's the class you need to graduate. If you don't show up to that class, you're not walking to graduate. Whatever field you is, guess what? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. You waking your ass getting up for that class, right? College teaches you things that will propel you as a YouTuber. Is going to prepare you, because in college you have deadlines. You have to. This is the reason why a lot of there's it's not a coincidence. Most billionaires went to college. Period. And do you know what type of universities produce the most billionaires? Ivy League. Okay, there's a reason why smart people go to college, run the fucking world. There are a group of niggas who feel like you don't need college for shit. You a motherfucking lie. Okay, to be the president of the United States, if that is your goal, Gabe, ask me what you need to have. Ask me for the most part.
I mean, what you gotta have.
Thank you. I'm glad you asked the question. You need to have a bachelor's degree. And then most likely have a law degree. Let's talk about, Richard Nixon, who went to Duke School of Law. Obama, who went to Harvard. We could talk about Bill Clinton, who went to Princeton or Yale, one of those schools. Bro, there is a certain standard for U.S. presidencies. Okay? So people who run the world typically have these things. Most CEOs are MBA and JD. Now, traditional college and fuck nigga degrees is overrated. Yeah, so if you're a nigga that went to school for social studies, psychology, doodleology, then of course you're on the carpet cleaning business. Come talk to my friend who's a petrochemical engineer, and he'll run circles around any of you niggas talking that shit right now. Or my buddy who's an endodontist, okay, who charging I don't know how much for root canals, nigga. Or my homeboy who just mastered internal medicine, who after he get done with that, he's gonna be a cardiologist. He'll run circles around any of you niggas talking about you own personal whatever. Anybody. If you go to college for the right shit, you can be a god. All facts. So I mean, I hate when guys are talking down on university system. Brothers, listen. This is anybody. If you're going to school for doo-doo and bullshit shit. How many billionaires graduated? Zuckerberg, no. Bill Gates, no. But dummy, where did they go to school at? Where did Zuckerberg go to school, and where did Bill Gates go to school at?
I think Stanford.
Harvard.
Mhm.
Harvard. Bill
Oh,
Gates
wait.
had a fucking perfect 1600 SAT.
Wow.
Not a nigga in the chat talking shit, talking about it. You can't even use it. You're so dumb. See, this is why niggas need to go to college. When you are dumb, you make us. Do you know that Bill Gates' father was a tax attorney? His mother was on the University of Washington of Regents. He wasn't a nigga like you talking shit in the fucking chat talking about I went to college and no. Nigga, you're using two of the people. Zuckerberg's parents, well, his mother is a fucking dentist.
You got to have a degree for
A
that.
lot of you niggas are idiots. When you talk down, you use the examples. You're too dumb to even know who the fuck you're talking about. He met Paul Allen at Harvard, nigga. Do you think he went to community college like the rest of us niggas? No, it's not flawed, nigga. If you go to Harvard and you drop out, you still went to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not flawed.
And I'm curious to hear if he has any business folk in his family, because I don't have any business folk in my family.
This nigga's retarded. That nigga don't know. I'll tell you something. There's a whole bunch of you niggas that don't know what the fuck you talking about. All right? Let's just be honest. Everybody most people that are billionaires, none of them are niggas like the Dr. Dre, maybe every now and then, or a Jay-Z. That don't happen. The blueprint is if you going to, the only way you're being a billionaire if you're dropping out, unless you go to a Harvard. Donald Trump went to University of Pennsylvania. And also a lot of times you go to college for the network. Look at this.
Yeah.
Who did Zuckerberg meet at Harvard? Mm-hmm. Who did Bill Gates meet at Harvard? Fucking Paul Allen. Like, it's not like you niggas talking shit where you meeting up at Leroy's chicken dinners and shit, talking about gizzards and motherfucking Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, I don't mean to go, but we got a lot of niggas dumb in the chat. I'm sorry.
I mean, I completely agree, because the thing about it is that I'm not saying that you need college to do everything, right? But you do need college college broadens your ability to do more. I mean, even so, like, just a little information. Some years ago, the last class for NASA for its astronaut program, for its astronaut candidacy program, the requirement was only a bachelor's degree in engineering or some type of STEM related field. So I actually applied for that one, and I think the new class is coming up. Now, I didn't get in. Obviously, I'm not an astronaut, but I didn't get in. But the new requirement for this upcoming one is that you need to have a master's degree now. You need to have a master's degree just to even be a candidate to apply for NASA's astronaut candidacy program. So, I wouldn't say that you needed a degree to do everything, but having a degree does expand your ability to do more within this current economic society. So let's keep it all in context.
The benefit. I'll let you go, Shane. I'll let you go.
I'm sorry. Let me just do something real quick for the Negro in the chat. Then I'm gonna ban you. Okay. So I want to talk to you about the 5 richest people in the world. Uh-oh. And your argument is that they go to college. We're going to talk about that. Okay? We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about Jeff Bezos. Would anybody like to know what college Jeff Bezos went to? He's currently the richest person in the world. Anybody want to give a guess? Anybody? I know it's at least Columbia or Cornell. Oh, well, you know what? Let's figure it out. Why, Jesus? He graduated summa cum laude from Princeton University with a Bachelor's of Science in Engineering and Computer Science. Wow. The richest person in the world went to where? Princeton. Okay. I'm sorry. So we're gonna go back to the next person. Oh my goodness, Bill Gates. He did go to Harvard, but he dropped out. So okay, we got two people in Ivy League situations. Now, Bernard Arnault. He's the only person that didn't go to college at all. Okay. But let's look at number 4. Who's number 4 on the list? Warren Buffett. Oh God. Let's see what school he went to. Did he go to Nigga Keep Running University? He did not. He did not. Gabe, what school did he go to? Do you want to know what school he went to?
No, what school he go to?
Oh my goodness. He went to University of Pennsylvania. Then University of Nebraska, and then Columbia University. Is that Columbia, New York? It's Columbia Ivy League? Oh my God. And then 5, Mark Zuckerberg. Also a Harvard dropout. So 4 out of the 5, you fucking idiot, went to Harvard. Get him out of my chat. Banny, please. Go.
The
Go.
the
God, get him out of my chat. Right now.
follow up. The
Get him
follow
out.
up. The follow up.
I swear to God, it's not. No. Get out.
The follow up on the benefits I received from college was number one was the networking, and then number two was that's the only time and place that you're gonna get a concentration of people that are going the same direction that you're going into, and you get to kind of establish some really good bonds and relationships with your peers that last a lifetime. Those are lifelong fraternities that will help you navigate career opportunities and businesses and business things. To this day, I have a set of 10 friends I went to school with that I can always give a call to for any advice or to help me out on a project or to give work to. So, you don't, there are pros and cons, but I think there's a lot more pros if you navigate it the proper way. Like, I would never send my kid to a private college. I would definitely send them to a state school, and make sure we do the research properly and carve out a career goal for them. And I think that's where a lot of the kind of disconnect is happening. They're hearing a lot more of the horror stories, not the people who are successful. And that kind of boils down to, if your parents don't help you sit you down and map out a career plan, you're not going to be successful when you get there. You're going to really flounder and get lost if older people in your life are not helping you navigate it properly. And college may not be for everybody. You might be an entrepreneur, you might be military, you might go right into your trade. That's not for everybody. But I don't want to. It's not my place to belittle the other opportunities on the table for tradesmen or military people. And I'm not too sure why people feel comfortable coming into this conversation doing the same thing for college brothers. I'm not sure.
And kind of very similar. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say similar to that point, and something that Andre had said is that college prepares you to be a worker. I don't agree with that. I mean, in certain circumstances, it does. I think college prepares you to think and to really have a structure to your thinking, to operate inside of a particular environment that, again, is structured. Yeah, you can get out there and hustle, but you can get out there and make it happen for yourself and everything. But I don't think people really even do the comparison between what those who go to college make compared to what those who are entrepreneurs make, and even the effort that's involved in the two. And I think a lot of times, and what I've experienced is that, yeah, my college degree can afford me a career that makes me one stream of income. And then you can do the college thing and do the entrepreneurial thing at the same time, right? I make a significant income from my consulting job, but I'm also able to do things on the side with my real estate job. And then even you get more degrees. I mean, you can be an adjunct professor with the master's degree. So there's 3 streams of income that can very much so potentially be six figures, and six figures. So you can really kind of increase your amount of streams of income by gaining more degrees and getting more academic experience. So I wouldn't say that it just prepares you to be a worker. I think it actually allows you for an additional stream of income if you're talking about business. So
I would say also I'll let you go right next after me.
No, go ahead.
I wouldn't say it makes you from what I've seen. I think it makes you comfortable for some people, not all. I think you get comfortable and then you go after a high paying job and then you sit in that high paying job without looking at other opportunities. I will say it makes you comfortable, not a worker per se, from what I've seen. But rarely do I find people like us on this panel in the workforce. And people they 9 to 5 and they go home and they have a good time with their friends and family. They're not grinding on the weekend trying to make a business happen on the side. From what I've seen, so I've seen a lot more being comfortable in your achievements in college, not so much a worker.
Let me say shout out to the Mag Trucker, and let me see this. The brother Clay Pro, thank you again. Thank you for the donation. I know some white guys I went to high school with, skipped college, became garage door specialists, and now making $7,000 a month from repairs. Let me add to what Gabe says. Okay, again, I think that people who have typically, and this is just me being honest, people who go to college, I'm talking about, and I'm not hating on online colleges or anything like that. But I'm gonna be elitist here, not for myself, but for people who go to college and go to school. Bright people who get through hard courses and hard coursework, rigorous coursework, and do very well. Those people are smart. Smart people find a way to make more opportunities for themselves. Okay, that's why Joe Biden, who I think finished at the bottom of his class at the University of Delaware School of Law, became the vice president of the United States. People who are very intelligent run everything. Not some things, all things. All right? It's like almost being like, if you could think, and I know Gabe is a Christian here, right? God is omnipotent. He knows all. Okay? And then secondary or tertiary to that are smart people. Okay, like it's I mean, let's be honest. Tertiary to that is and people who think, you know, if you're a person and you have a very limited skill set, I'm going to say this. Even this sort of content, if I wasn't a person that went to medical school and I did, you know, I did my bachelor's of science in biology, we couldn't even talk about this thing right now. You know, Gabe, I mean, like, look at all of the things that we're talking about. Obviously, you know, that I attended college. You can tell by what we're talking about the calculus book. We have calculus 1, 2, 3, integration by parts, the solutions manuals. Anybody who's been through my experience know that I know what I'm talking about. I could not even come up with this sort of content, or at least be with Gabe to come up with this kind of content to create the topic, to talk about it intelligently, which would allow me to have money from this if I didn't go to college. What I'm saying is, the brighter you are, the more opportunities you have because you have skill.
Yeah.
Every situation that I've learned from, the base is my college education. It got me in the door to learn other skills. For example, at a time in 2007 or 2008, roughly around my graduation, having a college degree automatically for most jobs got you in the door. For bigger companies. It's not the fact that you even, for example, I work for a big companies, not even in my field, Gabe, but for the fact that I had a college degree, it was like, okay, well, that means you're capable of learning this and doing well because you've already showed us you're committed to this. Obviously, you can learn this again because you have the degree. So I was able to go and add to the skill set because I had went to college, which gave me more advantages and more advantages and more advantages. And then obviously the resume, the plethora of other skills, working. We talk about soft skills a lot right now. We talk about networking, all those things you build based off of the ability to go to college. The person who doesn't go to college doesn't have that opportunity. They don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a very, very talented person and stuff like this, I'm going to say this. There's a lot to do with, you know, I like Andre Hatchett. He's an anomaly in my opinion, for the most part. Most people that have not went to college cannot do what Andre Hatchett does. You just can't. To get into the circle that you need to be in, it's imperative for you to have a college degree, and you need it, and then you need to do well, and then you need to go ahead, like, and I'll use Brother Antoine Wade for an example. He went to college, did well, didn't do good enough on the standard for GMAT, went to the GMAT, got into Georgia Tech. There's a big difference between Antoine Wade and this nigga who's talking about cleaning carpets and shit. I'm sorry, I'm not putting down that situation, but nigga, Antoine Wade is out in Czech Republic, in Malaysia, and whatever. So this is what I'm talking about. We're talking about class and lifestyle. There's a big difference, and I'm gonna tell you, brother, something. Money doesn't always equal class. All right, we're gonna have the conversation with you, brothers. You can make $200,000 a year. That don't mean that you can get into circles with people because you make $200,000 a year. I'm gonna just be honest. This is one of the reasons why a lot of black women and brothers get mad. They don't want to date brothers who make more than them because here's the situation. It's a class thing. Okay? People that go to Harvard and go to Yale, it's a class thing. That's why they can collaborate and do things. You got to get into certain people's networks requires that you do certain things. Just like the Jack and Jill Club. And we have this in Black America. Jack and Jill, you used to be able to have a certain light skin tone or whatever. And unfortunately, this is true. people don't want to deal with certain people that are not in a certain level of education. And it opens up opportunities for if you don't have it, it's tough. Yeah. This is what I'm telling guys. If you go to college for the right thing, your advantages are astronomical. If you don't, you could be fucked. Or it's going to be a lot harder for you. And that's the truth. It's going to be more difficult. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, you can hustle. Yeah, hustling is good. But certain niggas have to hustle harder because they don't have it. If you don't have it, you know what happens? It's just like being in Uganda. You're on the street. You're selling soup, nigga. You're selling sandals, whatever. Because you don't have an advantage. If you don't have an advantage over people, you can exploit it. And you need to be able to exploit any advantage. That's what the strong do. The strong exploit their advantages over people. If you don't have that, tough. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I agree.
But true.
I think that one thing within our community, and let's kind of bring this in here too, is that I think this very much so is kind of that idea that those who don't go to college, the black men who don't go to college, think that those who do look down upon them, right? So a lot of times those who don't try to look for a lot of advantages or every advantage they can find over a brother who went to college. Like, listen, I didn't have to go through that, and I'm still doing just as good as you or even better. And I don't even think that's necessarily the conversations that we should have, is that who's better or who's not better. I don't think it's a better or not better thing. I look at it as where can we black men find their best advantage in this current economic structure, right? Whether you go to college or whether you don't go to college, I don't care if you think if you think that I think I'm better than you. I don't, by the way. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I do think that my degrees have afforded me better opportunities in this current economic environment. Yeah. And it's nothing wrong. And just like you said, O'Shea, it's nothing wrong with hustling, but you can hustle with a degree too.
Yes.
You got to hustle more without one in a lot of different fields. So, just wanted to throw that there.
But it is the 800-pound gorilla in the room that we don't talk about, because there is a perception. Okay, this is what I've seen, right? So when a brother like Gabe starts talking, and then there's always this weird wave for some people of insecurity and ego that kind of sprouts out indirectly. So when they come to Gabe, they don't really ask Gabe questions. They want to challenge him on who he is and what he does. And we got to talk about that, because that's the crux of a lot of the conversations I hear on YouTube. And I'm starting to notice within my circles. I didn't notice it before, but because I'm coming on these channels and we having these conversations, I'm like, I remember being in that room when this sort of dialogue happened, where we didn't talk about the insecurity and ego piece, but there was another conversation going on, thus the one we had in chat. So-and-so, and like, bruh, we're not questioning your capability or your intelligence. We're just giving you another way to be successful. And until you bring that up and kind of talk through with those brothers and get their mind at ease, you're always going to come into these. I've seen brothers come on panels, very accomplished and very bright, and they spend the majority of their time defending their positions versus giving out relative information for the audience. And it's interesting to watch, because it's like, to Gabe's point, you're right, Gabe. I don't think we got the time to have that type of ego contest. I don't think we have it. But until we tackle it in an honest way and really make brothers feel comfortable with having a dialogue about it, we're gonna constantly keep running into these weird conversations about I'm doing better. I'm like, bro, we're not talking about you, and you're unique, you're special, and you can do things that other folk are not doing. I'm talking to the audience right now. I'm talking to the cat who just put in his college application to the community college, and I'm trying to get him to transfer to the state school. I'm talking to him. I ain't talking to you. You're successful. So it's weird, and it's more like psychology and therapy at some point. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. That's the way it feels like that when we're on these panels. That's the way it feels, because I see brothers coming. I see people coming directly at O'Shea, not what O'Shea does, but coming at him directly. Gabe, I've seen people come at you directly, right? And the optics of it is weird. Like, why are we doing this? And when I came to the realization, it was about, you make me feel some type of way because you're talking about your success. That's what I got from those dialogues. I'm like, man, that's deep, because that's not my intent. That's not my intent, Gabe. I don't think that's never your intention when you come up here.
No, man.
I think you honestly care. You honestly care about the brothers that won't help, and I don't think that's how it's being perceived. I don't want to derail it, but I just want us to think
You
about
good.
that sometimes, because I think that's what it. I think if we don't talk about that or bring that up, I don't think we give people permission to kind of be honest about how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
You
Because
know
let
what I
me tell
mean?
you where because my major issue a lot of times is like, yeah, like I'm not coming up here to try to, you know, prop myself up before anybody to be seen as anything. But you
Mhm.
know what really pisses me off is when people
Mm-hmm.
that are not inside of our community kind of look at me and kind of a little bit towards what we were talking about earlier, kind of look at me and think that I'm the only black man who can do what I'm doing.
Right.
So I had a white counterpart, a white coworker who we were sitting down having a conversation. I was just kind of giving him my story. We were just sharing stories about where we came from. Oh, he's an older dude. He's probably like 65 or something. He was just telling me about where he came from and all this. I told him how I came up in Detroit, single mother household, you know, grew up in the hood, was able to learn math, engineering, all this type of thing. And he was just looking at me with awe, right? And he was just saying, wow, you are so lucky, Gabe. You're so lucky. I'm like,
No,
you're, he said, you're
Yeah,
so
the best,
lucky.
the
And
best,
then
the
you are
best.
just, I mean, he was looking at me as if I was a unicorn, something that only me can do, only
right.
Gabe can do. And that,
Right.
like, you would think that a lot of people would take that as something to prop themselves up. I was offended. I was offended because I look at the homies in my hood and I know what they grind for, right? I know their work ethic. I know what they can do. And I'm like, person not inside of our community, how dare you look at me? You're looking
Right.
at me highly and you're looking at my brothers lowly. You're
But
looking at people, you're
but
looking at people with it. Let me just finish this. You're looking
yeah,
at people within my community as if I'm the only one who can make it out of here when
Mhm.
so many of us have and so many of us can. And I think
Mhm.
that's really the major message that I try to present here is that, brothers, you can make it beyond the point in which you're currently at, and that you can do it, and hopefully we can give you, with the Hall of Game, can give you more game in order to come
Right.
from your current situation
Right.
beyond. Right. Go ahead.
Gabe, the follow up, right? So, you know, I've had that conversation too a couple of times, and I used to get to where you were. I'm in a different place now. Let your heart break for that person because their perception of you is how did this subhuman get from the breach and meet and be sitting next to me having an intellectual dialogue? That's his mindset, right?
Hmm.
You're subhuman. How did you make it out of the nonsense, right? And I used to get angry at those people. But when I come to the realization, they're just a broken product of their culture and society where they don't see you as an equal, that they're just as human as they are. They see you as a other. And I get
Hmm.
it. I get it. Like I'm more empathetic to that situation because that just tells me that you don't have the spiritual or mental fortitude to see past what people have told you what I am, right? And at the same time, to be honest with you, Gabe, me being a brother looking at you, you are an anomaly in another sense. Here's the sense I'm looking at from my side. Look at all this hard work and dedication Gabe did to get to where he's at. And if I had the capability and opportunity, and I don't want to make you a Jesus-like figure. You just somebody who's really accomplished because you put that work in. And that's the difference. You work your ass off to get there. And I can do it too. And that's what it means to me. When I see somebody like Gabe, when I see somebody like Gabe, I'm like, dang, I can get there in a year or two. Look at Gabe. He ended up shooting three. Gabe is shooting 3-pointers from the parking lot. And if I put the work in, and I can maybe shoot through 3-pointers from the parking lot within the next year or two. That's the way I see it. And I don't want to, and I want to make sure, and I want to put you on the spot, Gabe, but people of Gabe's ilk, what I do want y'all to realize is that what you've done is amazing, and I don't want to belittle that, but at the same time, I do want to let the brothers know how Gabe, with people like Gabe, with people like me or Aisha, how we got to this place: hard work, sacrifice,
Hmm.
giving up creature comforts, making payments, going, you know something, I'm going to go to Starbucks on Friday night and get into this manual or do this test or do this course. It's all possible. It's not magical. So to your point, Gabe, I want to make sure I support what you're saying. I agree. What Gabe has done is not extraordinary. But what is extraordinary that he had the fortitude to see it all the way through. That's the part that's extraordinary. Not his accomplishments, but what he did to get there. Because most of us, let's be honest, man, most of us ain't got that type of discipline. Let's be real. Nobody ain't got that discipline to get up at 4 a.m. I just keep that on. Who has the discipline to put the controller down and go to bed at 8 o'clock? Who got the discipline? Sounds simple, don't it? Sounds simple, but bro, we make it a mountain. We make a molehill a mountain.
Well, let me Gabe, let me know if I'm off topic. Thank you, Brother Maurice, but I wanted to say shout out to Julian Brown. And okay, here's one. Looking back at it, right? And Dana, I got you. I'm gonna get you. Keep it, take you up. Thank you, KBT. The White Elephant. Thank you, G Star. Why is G Star the only one giving money? Don't let Dana and G Star give all the money in engineering cannabis. Thank you, brother. Y'all niggas know what's up. Hall the game. Give me all your money, nigga. But now let me get back to this seriously. I'm thinking it back, right? Okay, Gabe. One of the things that we talked about is kind of looking back as a story time or whatever. If I could not give a story time, but remember I talked about picking the right university for you in many ways. What does the school's goals? Does it fit with your value system? Every school, like Meharry, is like teaching to honor God or whatever, something like that. That's Meharry Medical School. That's their credo. One of the things that I didn't know, and the best students know this. How do you learn? I want to talk about that because some people figure that out sooner than later. Unfortunately for me, I figured that out a lot later. So people who were doing well in coursework, they understood how they learned. They understood how to prepare. They understood how to attack certain things, how to get ready for assignments. Some students, let's say if you're doing math problems, some people knew like before I take, let's say integration, I need to have like 200 practice questions done before I could take the exam. This is the number that would help me get there. For me, I never really understood how I learned. And I had a buddy, I want to talk about him. He went to the University of Pennsylvania. He dropped out, right? Because like the engineering program for him, he did good in high school, but he went to engineering program at the University of Pennsylvania. For the way that he learned and the way that they taught, the school was not a good fit for him. And he ended up failing out. There are certain schools and programs that you can pick. It's just like a football, like just like the NFL. NFL players' careers are won and lost a lot of times based off of the system that they're going to be in. Some players under the right system and under the right organization, like if I'm a player, I want to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the best organization in pro football. If you go to the Browns, your career might be over before it starts, right? And that's another thing that a lot of brothers don't really understand. How do you learn? How do you process certain things? How do you prepare? And that's one of the reasons that separates good students from the great students. If you know that, you know what, maybe I need, because in medical school, everybody learns different, but we all prepare. For example, we have to know a certain block of questions because the way that the exams come out. If I'm doing the brachial plexus in arm anatomy, I probably need to do 400 to 500 questions for this block. That's how I'm going to get ready for this. And then I need to know for each question that I do, I need to know why that answer is right and why the other ones are wrong, just for each one question. That's understanding how to learn to get you to prepare for an exam at whatever level you are. I didn't really understand that concept. So then you don't do very well. I think with a lot of guys, and now now you have Quizlet, now you have Anki, you have like that kind of spaced repetition learning thing that's out there now, you can kind of, and then also, how do things connect? Now you have mnemonic, okay? Sometimes you don't know what all the, let's say, side effects, something that, you might call it PILL, and that might all stand for something different. Learning mnemonics to help you remember stuff so that you know what it is, all to help you elevate your learning. Because a lot of times we tell brothers, you need to work hard, you need to study hard and work long, but we don't tell guys like, okay, you do need to understand if you're a more visual learner, if you're more auditory, if you're a person. Some guys can just read something and they get it, boom. Some guys like me, I like to watch videos. I like to watch lectures. I might watch Osmosis. I might watch Khan Academy. I used to watch Move Biochemistry. And then I'm able to go back and then I'm able to practice what I know. And everybody does it differently. You might do it different than me, but then when you know how to do that, then you can be successful. And a lot of guys spend a lot of time studying or spend a lot of time, but you don't know how to apply the system that helps you prepare for final. For example, you have 4 or 5 finals. And I used to hate that. Final week come, you have 4 finals, sometimes 2 in a day. You got organic chemistry at 8, calculus 2 at 10. You got physics. You know what I mean? All of these are cumulative. You understand? Yeah. And I used to always struggle with that. Like, damn, I have this exam. So it's just getting prepared for those things. I think a lot of brothers, we don't talk about those things a lot in this space. And that's something that's the game that you're going to get in the Hall of Game is, I know these things are coming down the pike, and how do you do it? But you are the only person that knows how you learn and retain information. I can't tell you how I do it. And also, what's going to match you up is some schools, I'm going to say this real quick. Some schools, you know what I'm at right now, because we have the coronavirus in Poland. Now they are giving psychological counseling to students. But if you are failing systemic physiology, or if you're failing anatomy or pathome or pathology, there's no support for that, right? Students at American medical schools, they have so much support, 24-hour libraries. You have all of these different learning things to support you to help you pass. That's why there's not a great failure rate in American medicine. One, because obviously they're already very bright students as it is. But medicine is tough for everybody. I'm just using medicine as an example because that's something I know something about. You have all of these resources that are available to you. What I would also suggest is, again, in looking at how to learn and looking at how to prepare, also that you have your own resources such as YouTube or Udemy or whatever. What are the resources available to you at whatever said university that you were at? Some schools have some really, really, really powerful universities, some really, really powerful 24-hour libraries. Some people study. I mean, I'm a person that likes to night, Gabe. I'm a night studier. I like to get up at night at like 8, and I like to, stay up all the way to the next day to study. If you have guys like that, if you are that type of guy, and if you are a 24-hour study, you have a 24-hour study library that's available, and it has a coffee machine, and you can get off that energy, you're good. I think these are things that Black men have problems with that we don't talk about. And a lot of brothers need to understand, number one, who are you as a student? Who are you? How do you learn? How do you retain these things? And then you attack and you go from there. You change your strategy as it fits you, your style. Then you can become successful, whatever you want to do. But I think that's one of the, am I wrong about this?
No, you're absolutely right. And I think some of the points that you're bringing up are super duper applicable. I think one thing that you're kind of bringing up is definitely how you learn. And I think that then once you know how you learn, then you start to jump into your repetitions. So so you look at shooters who have very good form, like a Ray Allen or Danny Green, all these individuals who have Steph Curry. Every time that they shoot, their shot looks the exact same way every single time. And so one thing is that they learn how to put the ball in the hoop, but then they also learn how to repeat that. They learn how to do it over and over and over and over again, where their efficiency becomes higher and higher and higher. And that's the thing, what it is. Once you find out how you learn, the way that you learn, that's when that putting that head down and really just going forward and just pummeling through material to really digest it, let it become a part of you. That's where it becomes more of a natural thing. Learning becomes part of who you are. And I think that Black men really need to incorporate a lot of that, right? In allowing learning to become a part of who you are, because just as everybody is saying in the world, these technologies are just zooming past us, right? Especially within tech, you have cloud technology, you have cybersecurity, you have blockchain, you have a lot of information that's out there. That in order to be abreast of the subject matter, you need to be able to digest information at a high volumes. You need to be able to digest information at a high rate. And even in like you were saying in medical, like my wife, every single morning she wakes up at 5 a.m. She's on Quizlet. She's looking at YouTube videos, studying for her nurse anesthesia her classes. So she's going over this material over, and it's not only just learning what they are, doing the repetition, but also looking at how systems and things connect, right? Because then you start really getting a large picture of things. So just wanted to throw a little bit of that out there. It's just as O'Shea was
big
saying,
picture
find
studying
what you
is
learn.
a beautiful thing, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the part, and I'll in a little bit embarrassing. I don't. So I think here we go with the ego thing. I'm embarrassed to say I'm a slow reader, right? And so I'm going for my 508 certification for government when it comes to building digital products. And there's a lot of dense information, a lot of government regulations, a lot of stuff you got to follow when it comes to security and basics around the interweb and all that stuff. And what my tool of the trade is, what I do, I use the text to speech conversion. So I absorb information better if I'm following as somebody reads it. I don't know why, but that works for me because I'm audio. I guess I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I'll open up the content, I'll let the text to speech play, and I'll just follow the narration, and I take the information in more, and I also can focus more. I don't get distracted as easy. It's like being in a lecture hall. So those are one of my little cheats and techniques I learned from a mentor. He's not the best reader either because we got to go through a lot of technical stuff. But I text to speech. I'll open up the 8 pages, and I'll just run through it and do it maybe twice if I don't get it, because a lot of the information is dense. So and to your point, O'Shea, I don't think a lot of us are comfortable talking about where we are in our learning styles, because even for me to say that, I ain't gonna lie to you, I feel a little embarrassed. Like I'm not the fastest reader, and it takes me a minute to grasp a concept, and I don't think we have any space to talk about that. Because I shouldn't feel embarrassed, but I do. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. But I think everybody's definitely at their own points. I think that's one thing that's interesting. I mean, some brothers probably can't read right to a very high level, right? But it just starts with one thing, right? You say, hey, I'm gonna read a paragraph this week or this day, and I'm gonna read another paragraph tomorrow. I'm gonna expand the information that I'm about to digest so I can get my reading skills up. So I think that no matter where a brother is in his particular journey, as it concerns learning and digesting information and being able to connect things, I think that brothers can go further and further and further as they put in that time in in repetition to whatever subject matter they're trying to learn and digest.
What's up, brothers? What's happening?
Hey,
How
hey,
y'all
what's
doing?
good, man? Hey, what's up?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. So now, both of what you guys were just saying is on point. I just wanted to, kind of add to it. You got to use whatever tools work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard you guys talking about YouTube. That's one of the things I always try to bring up. It's a lot of training out there on YouTube. You know what I'm saying, that you can get your hands on. As long as you got the internet. You know what I'm saying, and as far as reading, yeah, I definitely agree. Just take baby steps if you're not, proficient at reading, and just and I hope I'm not taking the conversation in a different direction. I think that's what y'all were talking about, but yeah,
No, you good.
just
Let it
take
flow. Let
baby
it flow.
steps for sure.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
just take baby steps, though. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, just like what Maurice was saying about listening to books, that's one thing I do. And as well, you can always get that Kindle. You know what I'm saying? Get the books. You can carry around 100 books with you. You know what I'm saying? To help you with whatever you're trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to add right now. Y'all go ahead.
No. I think it's important to have these type of dialogues. I think the thing that I felt because after these big conversations, I don't know. Y'all kind of do a good job of going over step 3 and 5, but I don't even know how to get started with 1. And at times, brothers don't feel comfortable reaching out to cats like us and asking. So yeah, I heard you, but what's step 1? Like, what does step 1 look like? Like, to your point, it's like I forgot about Kindle. Kindle has an auto. They have an auto. The Kindle will read to you, right? You set it up and you set. Yeah, I forgot about that. I usually do it through the computer or through the browser, and that's another good thing. Because my believe it or not, the audiobooks really helps with reading retention, and also my vocabulary is a lot better because of audiobooks. Like I would use something and my friends would stare at me like, "Where did you get that from?" I'm like, "Bro, I just listen to these audiobooks or I listen to a lecture."
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll bust over the YouTube, a YouTube lecture in the background and work, and people will be talking about something, and I'll just absorb it unconsciously. So yeah, you bring up a good point. I forgot about. I'm gonna have to go roll up on the Kindle and see if I can get me one. You know.
Yeah, you can find one on Amazon. You know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, or used.
And even speaking about getting all that information, right? Because still in the context of college, right? You're taking a lot of different classes. So I guess mainly focus on that undergraduate level, right? You don't have to take a full load of classes at once, right? Because you don't have to take a whole bunch, 16, 18, 20 credits in a particular semester, because that just that just expands the amount of information that you have to learn and digest at once. And that definitely has a negative effect on you retaining information. Because then you just like, I just got to pass it. I just got to get past this. Where really the focus should definitely be in digesting the information that'll be able to apply to your future as you go forward in your career. So that's another thing, kind of learning in the context of school. Like, you don't have to take the load that everybody else is taking. You can. There's been some semesters where I was part-time. I was like, and I was interning and part-time student, and I wasn't ashamed. Some other people was like, "Dang, you only do it part-time. It's gonna take you forever to graduate." I'll be all right. I'll be all right. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. So I think that's another thing that's very important, is knowing what your load is. How much information can you bring in at once? How much information can you, in order to be successful? So I think that's another point that's important.
Can I build on that?
Yeah,
Let me build on that real quick. Let me build on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I would have thought of that. I thought my last comment was genius. I really did. I thought I had really picked what I was like. Yeah, I can't wait to talk. Would you write notes? We be like, yeah, it's my turn. All right, yeah, nigga. Let me build on. But no, let me just say this. That actually is something that's important. I think also as Black men, everybody, for example, like even me, because one of my buddies just matched in internal medicine. And I had some issues here in medical school here and there, where I took, like, I failed 2 classes and then came back, and then I was a semester behind, and then I took 5 months off. So that put me really like a year behind, right? So everybody's like, when you graduating, when you finishing, right? Nigga, when I'm finishing.
Saying that. They
right?
love saying that. When you finish it. When you finish.
Exactly. And I will say this too. For a lot of guys out there, and some of y'all might have, maybe you working or things like that, and you can only take 12, you can only take 8 credits, or you can only take 6, because of whatever's going on in your life. As long as you moving toward the goal, and you're not, maybe you didn't take 12 or 15, and right now you need that, right? I think it's also imperative, but don't be so hard on yourself, because a lot of times, maybe it might not be the best situation for you to finish right now, or whatever situations have happened. Maybe you didn't plan for it, but as long as you're being consistent, that good night school, maybe you have other things things happen in life. But as long as you can continue to stay on the path, that's the most. I think Gabe's comment is, absolutely true. I've been there. And sometimes, maybe that semester, maybe because you're a lot of times, and I do a show, I have a video coming called Black Male Burnout is Real. And I know this because my day starts at being burnt out. I have this business, I got the other channel. I got NegroManosphere.com. I have my class of 2 days. Every day I start is at burnout. I'm starting my day is starting at burnout. Like if you're lifting weights, what do you call it? Like when you can't lift anymore, what's the term they call it, Gabe?
To failure. You lift
Most
to failure, right?
My day starts at failure. That's where it starts. It starts at failure. Literally every day I've been in Uganda, I'm working until 8 in the morning. Day starting at failure, right? That's how it is. Sometimes the things in your life that are you're overloaded yourself, and now it's like, God, I just have so much on my table, and maybe I don't need to hold anything onto my life. I need to probably remove some of these things so I can propel my life. So I gave beautiful, 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 beautiful excerpt right there.
Because the thing about it is that, like, when people say, "When do you finish?" Right? What does finish implies? It implies some type of race, or like like I'm trying to get to a finish line or something.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm not in no race with nobody else but myself. So
Right.
when you're asking, when do I finish? That's relative. My finish date is when I'm a finish. Your finish date is different, and your finish date for me is irrelevant. So it really, I used to hate that, right? Because so my brother, like I have an older brother who has a master's and very successful in his career field, sisters and medical school and everything. They're both older than me, right? But the whole idea was that, well, the other two did real good. What's taking Gabe so long, right? So that might even be a thing too, brothers, right? Some type of family dynamics, something that might be happening in your community where people are comparing you to the golden child or something, right? And I think that one thing that's really important is that finish date, that time to accomplish. It's not up to other people's opinions of you. It's when you're ready and when you believe that you've gotten to where you desire to get, or when you've learned what you desire to learn. So I don't like that phrase "finish." When are you gonna finish? Or because I'm not in a race with nobody else. But sorry, but allow me to make it up.
Do you guys think that we put that extra pressure on ourselves? Because I know I do. And Gabe, I appreciate you saying that, bro. Because I'm in something very similar with the certification. I'm rushing and I'm getting no sleep and I'm trying to knock out. I got this weird deadline in my head, and I'm like, all right, I can do it. I can do it at a reasonable pace so I can absorb this information properly. Yeah. So I think we just need to hear that. Because we put mountains on our shoulders sometimes trying to get things done. So I appreciate y'all for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but Tech, you was gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say I definitely agree with what y'all saying about that. You shouldn't let other outside forces, or outside people, dictate how fast or how quickly you complete something, because everybody learns at a different pace. And you have to, you have to understand how, and I heard you guys say this already, but you have to understand how you learn and how you absorb information in order to be successful in whatever you're trying to learn. So, and then also, what I was gonna say too, Gabe, it isn't a race at all, because I know, especially in IT, once you get that degree, technology is constantly changing. New things are coming out. So you always going back to school and learning something different, or looking online and learning something new, because it's always changing. You know what I'm saying? So it never finishes. There is no finish line.
Right.
That's all I want to add.
Right. And we will wrap it up. But shout out to the brother. Let me see. He says I'm a slow learner. Even for me, for certain things, there are certain things I don't pick up right away. But one of the things is when I do get it, it's your ass. And so that's one of the things. Like once you got it, you always, you have it. And so hopefully, I mean, this is like this is a third Hall of Game. I'm getting so many emails, right? And it's hard. I'm telling you this, man. Like for me to do the Hall, like literally, I'm doing this at this is now I started at 3:00 in the morning my time. I've been working all day until 3 a.m. to set time for the Hall of Game. I was supposed to do the brother peel, but there's no way I can do it because I have to be I got to get at least an hour or two of sleep so I can get to the co-working space to try to get on this exam. But I will say that. So we're trying to give you guys as much as we can for these. I don't know if I was supposed to do one tomorrow. I don't know because it's Hall of Game is even weighing on me because I'm streaming too damn much. But
yeah,
I skip tomorrow for the Hall. I might come back to it the day after. But you guys know I have been trying to keep my promise to give him more of these. And I think I've been getting a lot of emails. Brothers appreciate them. So I do thank you guys for coming in. But I'll let you guys close it out. And I'm going to shout out to Super Chats. Any last words from anybody?
Yeah, man. Like, brothers, just keep on going, grinding. I think college is good. I think it's something that allows you a lot of opportunities. And one is that we didn't even really get into it. Is one thing is that it's not for everybody,
right?
But I think that for the ones who it's for, don't feel like you're limiting yourself or you're putting yourself in the corner, and really can open you up to a lot of opportunities. And yeah, that's all I got to say on this one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say pretty much the same thing. Just keep grinding it out, man. If you in the college, you know what I'm saying? It's like what Gabe said, it's not for everybody, but it'll open up a world of opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Just getting through it and retaining the information. And O'Shea, I apologize, man. I got caught up at work today. I would have showed up on time, but appreciate it.
White man trying to hold you back, brother.
Yeah. Literally.
To follow up on what the brothers are saying, college is a path, not the path. And there's a ton of other paths out there to be successful: college, military, trade, entrepreneurship, or just a plain combination of all in the hustle. So it's a path. And everybody on the panel has walked it. I think Keep It Tech. I believe Keep It Tech. He took the military route. I could be wrong on that one, but everybody's moving in a direction for success, and no one path is better. So just keep it going.
All right, shout out brother Earl Owens, guys. Thank you for supporting this, and I know like a lot of guys are down, have downtime because of the coronavirus. So I mean, usually, I specialize in my grade A food stamp content, which I do. I mean, those these shows. Let me tell you, like these shows require me actually to think to a certain level and to be kind of be on my toes to respond to what everybody else is saying and to be active. On my food stamp content, all I gotta do is Fantastic, nigga, Ramil, nigga, Taz, nigga, George Megan. Sometimes I could just let that motherfucker go and just leave. And so these shows actually take more energy out of me because it requires me to be actively involved in the conversation. So although it's only like an hour, it takes a lot more energy because now I have to think. I'm not saying the food stamp content. I mean, I might have to think for like 2 or 3 minutes, but for food stamp, I just let them up and go. But I would just say that I hope you guys appreciate this. I want to shout out the super chats and thank you for the brother that came on yesterday about automation, Dr. DXX. That brother came on yesterday and he gave a lot of information. And engineering cannabis is supposed to be on tomorrow. I have another brother that reached out to me, supposed to be on. So I got a lot of guys. Ill Wills hooked me up with a brother that's a tech recruiter. We're supposed to be on with him. So I have a lot of good guys who are coming in. But let me shout out to the real Dana. She says her son will listen tonight. I hope he wasn't listening to me cuss this nigga out. But Earl Owens, Building Fun, Carter Drew. Thank you, brothers. I need to hear your study tips. This will help me study for my data analytics programmer exam. God bless you all. Taboo, I'm currently a junior in IT. I have a 3.0 GPA to get a master's as a requirement to stay above 3.0. I'm gonna say this. I don't know anything about IT. I would think to get into like one of the better programs. That's that might not even, I don't know, depending on what school you're talking about, like a really good one like Georgia Tech or something like that. I don't know. What do you think about? I mean, at least 3.5, right? For a really good one.
Well, a lot of those, I guess, master's programs, and I'm not exactly sure if he's going into more of that upper professional master's degree versus something more towards the research towards the research, yeah, you might need to be more that towards the 3.5. But if you're getting like a more professional degree, then that 3.0 should be fine with an engineering and a lot of experience. Experience really is something that helps propel you into some of those professional master's degrees. So only matters on what it's going into.
Okay. And then the brother,
and the GRE.
Joshua.
Yep.
Joshua Landrum, Doug, thank you, Julian, Kibuteki, G-Star, Clay Pro. I have uncle that graduated from Texas A&M School of Engineering. He won a couple of government contracts and made millions. School didn't teach him how to apply for those government contracts. The Max Trucker, Real Dana, I love the content. I'm not listening. He listens more when it comes from men instead of women. Wow, that's because he's smart. Engineering Canada. Most STEM majors go into tech companies, learning the process and work on their startups. Most techs and healthcare startups are done by STEM. Dr. Dick says, thank you. A lot of white guys that went to engineering schools had parents that were either engineers or own companies. They had a startup. Yes, they did. Black Rhino. My goal is to get education in aviation management, maintenance management. I have a lot of work to do to earning that leadership, bro. Thank you, brother. G-Star again. JIBPB in the house for this good game. Rob Nation. Could college could prepare you for the ASVAB? I mean, absolutely. ASVAB asks very basic things. So again, guys, I really thank you, brothers, for doing that. I don't know, man. I was supposed to, the Andrew Gillum situation. Maybe I might go into Brother Pill with LAR for like 45 minutes, but this is the most important thing. Guys, I thank you for supporting this community. It's growing.
Appreciate it.
It's a slow growth, though. It's a slow growth because you niggas, y'all like the food stamp. You like the food stamp, and a lot of you niggas don't like the smart shit. But thank you for supporting. I mean, to have at least 200 people that was in for the whole show, that's great for a show. Like, I mean, that's amazing. So, any last words, anybody?
None for me.
No, appreciate you, man, for creating these opportunities and these platforms. And y'all have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate it, OJ. You know what I'm saying?
See you guys later.
No problem. And then hopefully tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace.